if you're a West Ham fan waking up this morning, it is grey and miserable and dreary and, well, you know, life doesn't look quite so bright, does it? By the way, you know what we're going to... I'm sick to death of it. Sick to death of talking about VAR.
You know, the topic all day.
Sick to death. All I say to West Ham fans is, it's not over yet. Don't quite give up hope.
Oh, no. No way. Look at the way Newcastle are playing. Listen, Newcastle got a decent draw away to Forest, but if West Ham want to stay up, you go away to Newcastle, you win. You win the last game of the season.
They'll win at Newcastle.
Exactly.
They've got a good record there as well.
Yeah, Spurs tonight, you never know. Leeds aren't the sort of team that will take their foot off the gas. They'll be at it tonight. Players want to perform. Players playing for spots in their national teams. I think tonight's going to be a tricky game for Spurs.
I do too. I don't know why, but I look at that Leeds squad and they don't strike me as a squad who will down tools just because they are safe. And then, of course, Spurs go to Chelsea. And I was looking at the record books yesterday. Spurs have won once in 42 visits in all competitions to Chelsea.
And also,
it ain't over.
Exactly. And also, you look at the league table, and obviously you get more money for the higher you stay up. One place is worth probably, I think it might be £1 million. And Leeds, 43 points in 16th place. There's no reason why they can't catch Newcastle in 13th place. Only 3 points in it. 2 games to go. 2 winnable games as well for Leeds.
But at the other end of the table, it is over.
Yes.
It is over.
Yes, it's over.
You know, Burnley and Crystal Palace to come for Arsenal. Yes. They'll win both of those games.
Definitely.
And they will be champions. And unfortunately, you know, the controversy from yesterday, I think it just takes a tiny bit of gloss away from that achievement because they've been over the piece.
Yes.
They've been the best team. You know, and the circumstances of yesterday's victory will mean that people are constantly talking about it, you know, and
it was a strange decision, Jeff, in the sense that, like, the frustration from a lot of the public, maybe everyone who's not an Arsenal fan, is that Arsenal have scored so many goals from exactly that. If you look at a lot of Arsenal's goals from set pieces, there was one in the first game of the season against Manchester United, the one against Villa, numerous other ones where they've got in front of the keeper, they pushed the keeper, their arms in the keeper's face. Nothing different from yesterday. That's what people are frustrated with. If that's your decision, why has it not been the same decision all season where Arsenal have benefited the most? And I'm an old school player, Jeff. I look at that and think, I used to do that every game. My job as a striker was corners for, in front of the goalkeeper. Do not let him come and get that ball. So the way Wilson took the goal as well, the atmosphere in the stadium, and that point would have put him level with Spurs as well. For me, I don't think that goal should have been taken away from West Ham.
You know what?
People disagree. People will agree.
Of course.
Everyone's got the different opinions.
Well, look, I'll tell you what, the way I see it, Gabby, is yes, it's a foul by Pablo. It's a clear foul by Pablo. But Trossard not looking at the ball has both arms around to stop attacking that ball. Declan Rice has both rounds around Mavropanos. There's holding elsewhere as well. You know who's caused this mess? The PGMOL have caused this mess. They are ruining our game. They've ignored grappling all season long. They've ignored the rugby tackles. They make pathetic claims of momentary contact in the area. No one knows what is a foul. Nuno's right. No one knows what's a foul and what isn't a foul. Chris Kavanagh, I felt for him. He's sent to the screen. He knows the significance of this. He has no idea what to do due to the position he's been put in by the PGMOL.
I felt sorry for him.
I felt sorry for him.
For the pressure on his shoulders at that moment.
How have we allowed this to happen, though, Gabby? How have we allowed the PGMOL to run and ruin our game through interpretations? Apply the law. That's all we want. Apply the law.
Any contact on a goalkeeper is a foul.
Yeah.
If you have that from the start of the season, yesterday everyone's like, you should know the rules, Pablo. You got to stay away from the keeper. You can't go in front of him. But Arsenal have created this mess all season where they've crowded the goalkeeper. They've got their arms in front of the goalkeeper's face. That's the frustration. And if you're a West Ham fan, yes, you have to win your own game, stay in the Premier League. Last weekend, Villa didn't turn up against Spurs. Cost West Ham, you'd say. Last night as well. West Ham, what if they go down by 1 point, Jeff? What if they go down on goal difference?
Look, Pablo had his arm across the goalkeeper. But had he not been being held back by both arms, he might have got to that ball and headed it in before David Raya got anywhere. And there is nobody in the world who knows anything about football who looks at what Declan Rice was doing to Mavropanos and say, in what world is that not a penalty kick? And this is not having a go at Arsenal, by the way, because I feel Arsenal have been the best side all season. I feel they deserve to win the league as well. This is having a go at the people who somehow, the PGMOL, somehow have got themselves in a position where I think they're ruining the game. I saw Darren Cannon on Match of the Day last night. I like him. You know, I mean, he was never a referee. He was an assistant referee. Talking about which was the most significant foul. Who's to say which was the most significant foul, for goodness sake?
You know what should have happened with that goal? Have a quick look at it and say, foul, 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 foul. It's chaos in the box. The goal stands because there's so many fouls going on. Okay, if Pablo fouls the goalkeeper, what about Declan Rice, who rugby tackles Mavropanos? Okay, is it a penalty? Do you know what I mean, Jeff? Because after he punches it, David Raya or flops at it, is that a penalty then? So that's the frustration from a lot of fans, especially West Ham fans, because to take that moment away, what a finish from Callum Wilson as well. Weaker foot, bang, in the back of the net. I don't think there was much in that second half, Jeff. I thought Arsenal were quite poor. I thought West Ham treated it like a cup final. They were putting their bodies on the line. They defended well. Maybe Callum Wilson could have come on the pitch a bit earlier because he's been in great goal-scoring form, but they'll feel very hard done by West Ham.
And then you get people like Billy texting, you two sound sad, Arsenal. Well, I've just said, Billy, I've just said, Billy, you know, Arsenal have been the better team all season and they deserve to be champions. What sounded sad? I didn't even have a sad sound in my voice, Billy. Okay, so listen, pal, you know, we're just giving our opinions over what was an incredibly controversial decision.
Jeff, even if it finished a draw, though, I still think Man City dropped points against Bournemouth. I really do in that game. Bournemouth, Iriola's last game of the season. They've got a chance of catching Aston Villa in 5th. They're going to be at it in that game. And Manchester City aren't playing their best football. So Arsenal still would have won the league, even if they drew last night for me.
Yeah. And by the way, Phil's right. Can I say, no one's mentioned the fact that Todibo's trying to hold David Raya. You're right. It's another one of those things that is allowed to go on, all season long. And you know, all the PGMOL have got to do, all referees have got to do to stop this is whenever there's holding in the box, whenever there's grappling, whenever there's rugby tackling, give a penalty.
Exactly.
Give 1, 2, 3. Give 4 penalties in a game. Do it for 2 weeks and it will stop. And it will end it completely.
Stop going over and warning them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I hate as well. You're warning them, you do it, you hold his shirt, it's going to be a penalty. Just let the corner be taken or set piece. Penalty, penalty. Foul to the goalkeeper, foul to the goalkeeper. Because, like you said, Jeff, Arsenal will win the Premier League, and this is what will be talked about for years. It really will.
I love this. Tim's texted and said, have a little look at match that it had a referee expert, whether you like the credentials or not. But he's never refereed. No. He was, you know, Darren Cann, he was a very good assistant, you know, one of the best in the game. But, you know...
I'm not being funny, Jeff. Like, we've got referees on today's show. Doesn't mean they're right. Because we see when it goes to VAR... and the referees having their decision, they don't get it right all the time. So it's all good saying expert referee. They don't always get it right. It's opinions.
I don't know if you saw it, by the way, but Darren also suggested his solution for this was that next season, no attacking player at corners should be allowed in the 6-yard box.
God.
Oh, my God.
Deary me.
That opens such a can of worms. Then we'll have VAR deciding whether a player was in the box, 6-yard area, or not. I mean, no thank you. Leave the laws of the game exactly as they are. Keep your hands off it. Keep off it. And just apply the law. Do your job. Do what you are paid to do.
I've seen so many goalkeepers do it, though, Jeff, in the sense that they fly over. I've seen Donnarumma, who's probably 6'6". How tough is he? No one's near him. Falls onto the floor. Sanchez. Martinez does it at Villa. He's cost goals this season where no one's touched him and he fell over. Keepers are too protected for me. I remember you could stand in front of the keeper, Jeff, and keepers have got their hands, don't forget. They've got their knees that can knee you in the back and then punch you in the back of the head to get rid of the ball. Now we've gone too soft with the protection for goalkeepers.
Yeah.
Oh, the phone lines are flying.
Look, 03717 223344. Phone lines have gone crazy. Of course they have, even though it's only 6:10 in the morning. Let's have a quick call from Paul, the West Ham fan. Morning, Paul.
Morning, Paul.
Morning, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, we're good, thanks, mate. So what did you make of it all?
To be honest with you, yesterday's game was just another example of. I listen to you guys every day, and I actually agree with Gabby quite a lot as well when he says about how the game's become so sterile, and when you say the game's become boring now with the VAR and all that. A lot of my mates have lynched me for this opinion, but about 3 months ago, I finally had like the final straw. I can't remember what game it was. It wasn't even a West Ham game, but I just said, honestly, if we go down this year, but it looks like we are going to now, I said, I'll genuinely, hand on my heart, be looking forward to next season in the Championship. It'll be the most I've been looking forward to football in ages, because the game, the Premier League, has become so overcoached, over-refereed. The finances in the game now at the top, the repercussions of getting relegated have become so massive. The teams are just like, the thought of relegation has become bigger than ever before. So I'm looking forward to a season where if we score a goal, I can cheer, I can watch the game, enjoy the game, and okay, we'll be playing Lincoln, we'll be playing, Wrexham and that, but I just want to enjoy the actual game. And I know the financial repercussions will be terrible for our club. And people will say I'm an idiot for saying I'm glad we're getting relegated, but I've just absolutely had enough of the Premier League. I'm up to the eyeballs, sick of VAR. The most I've enjoyed football this year, funny enough, is watching some of the European football. We've watched a bit of Bundesliga, watched the Liga. Obviously, they've got VAR there, but the players there are still expressing themselves a lot more as well. So every Premier League game is just now exactly the same. Play out from the back. Oh, we've got to turn over a play. Let's overload. All the expressions now. Low blocks. Can't play through it, and all that rubbish. The game has just become so sterile that, to be honest with you, yesterday was just another example of how boring it's become. Even that was my team playing. The VAR decision was ridiculous anyway. It's just another example of if they take us 5 minutes to make a decision, they don't possibly know whether it's a goal or not a goal. They're just trying to find something in there to justify the VAR.
Paul, thank you so much for that. Paul, disillusioned West Ham fan. I'm interested in what he said there, because he was talking about the EFL. The EFL rejected the chance to have VAR a few weeks ago. Is there any EFL fan out there who would welcome VAR in the game from the Championship down over? I'd love to hear from you if there are. 03717223344.
Yeah, but you see, there's no VAR last night in the game. No one today is going to be saying that's a joke. That shouldn't have been given as a goal. Listen, his arms up. It happens. There's fouls everywhere. Okay, it was chaos. It's the last minute. Keeper's got to be stronger. You got your hands. Come and punch that ball. So I think it was a ridiculous decision.
Phone line's gone crazy this morning. Everyone wants to give their thoughts on this decision. Let's hear from Robert, who's an Arsenal fan. Morning, Robert.
Morning, Robert.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, go on then, Robert. What did you make of it all?
How are you? Well, they've both played 36 league games so far. Why is West Ham in this position? It's not only about the one decision yesterday. They've had 35 games to get themselves up the table. At the end of the day, the West Ham fans have got to realise they're not good enough.
Well, you look at the table. I'm sorry, Robert. I mean, we know they've had 36 games to get themselves up the table. That's not what we're talking about. Everybody knows they've not been good enough this season. Every West Ham fan will tell you the same thing. They've not been good enough this season. We're talking about one specific incident and whether it cost them a point or not.
Well, they can't just rely on one incident. Arsenal had hundreds of incidents not given to them, and they just got on with their football.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Robert.
April Fools.
Yeah. Hey, look,
oh, Lord.
I don't know what to say to that. It's time at 6:24 for a quick coffee break and a look at the back pages with Costa Express.
The Costa Coffee Break on talkSPORT, sponsored by Costa Express. Quality coffee, quality day.
And Olivia Buzaglo is with us.
Good morning, Olivia. We missed you.
Good morning, Gabby. Talking of coffees, Gabby. I'm the person you'd least like to go for a coffee with out of every single person you work at talkSPORT.
You know what?
Do you regret saying that?
No, you know what? When I get asked this question, I always choose Simon Jordan.
So you'd rather go for a coffee with Martin Keown over me?
No, of course not.
Well, then why did you say me?
I knew you'd take it well.
Yeah, clearly.
Martin would probably end up telling me that I'm not at the top of my game, like I said to Andy Goldstein.
Can't have a joke at someone else's.
Yeah, I knew you'd take it well, Olivia Buzaglo.
Okay. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? And carry on this Arsenal chat. Back page of the Mirror, title in sight with Leandro Trossard doing his little celebration. Title holders, the back page of the Sun. One hand on the trophy, the back page of the Star. And VAR and away, the back page of the Express. Now, this whole situation is just a bit of a mess. I know what you've been saying, Gabby and Jeff. You've been saying there's obviously so many fouls going on, and Gabby, they haven't been given these all season. So why now? So how do we change this? What do the PGMOL or the Premier League have to do for next season to avoid situations like this?
Apply the laws. Apply the laws of the game. Apply the laws of the game that say a foul from the likes of Declan Rice within the box is a penalty, and start giving. I mean, let's take that. Let's move away from the incident and just say any grappling in the box, any rugby tackling in the box, at set plays is a penalty kick. Give the penalty kick. Apply the law. It will stop all this nonsense. Jamie Redknapp got it right yesterday when he said it's like the Super Bowl in there.
Yeah, and what about fouls on goalkeepers? Then are you saying every touch on a goalkeeper has to be a foul?
But I would make it clear. It's like the handball isn't clear. I'd say any contact with the goalkeeper is a foul to the goalkeeper. Then how many goals would Arsenal this season not have had? That's the problem. When you've let teams get away with it all season, then in a massive game, the biggest moment of the Premier League season, you say foul on the goalkeeper. That's the problem I've got with it.
You can't say no contact with. Look, this is a contact sport.
Doesn't look like it.
David Raya was, in my opinion, fouled yesterday, but maybe there were reasons for it. My ire, if you like, is not with Arsenal and their players, what was going on. It's not with the referee, it's with the PGMOL for their interpretation of the rule. We don't want an interpretation, we want application of the rules. I've got a text here from Murphy in Northamptonshire that says, we can all agree the PGMOL is ruining football, and few teams have been wronged as much as Arsenal over the past few seasons with dubious red cards. And you might be right with that, Murph, but one thing I would agree with, the PGMOL is ruining football, ruining people's love of the game.
Jeff, is that what is a foul on the goalkeeper? Every referee, every VAR official will have a different idea of what's a foul. You could be a goalkeeper and I just lean back at you. That's a foul. You can't do that. You can't do that. Another referee will say, that's light. That's the problem. No one knows what the rule is.
But Shay Given said last night, a goalkeeper, when he's coming to the ball, is going to expect contact. He's got to expect physical contact. Now, for me, in that case, there was too much physical contact. But there will be instances, no question about it, where there's physical contact involving a goalkeeper, or it's not a foul. But,
And I think Arsenal fans think that everyone saying that it's not a foul is against them. No one's saying that. It's not about Arsenal fans. And it's actually not even about, Jeff, like you're saying, it's not about the foul on Raya itself, because everyone looking at that can probably agree that that is a foul on the goalkeeper. It's like Gabby says, the fact that it's been happening all season. They haven't, in previous seasons, right, goalkeepers have been protected, and that goal probably would have been disallowed because of the foul on David Raya. But the point is, it hasn't been given all season, and they've obviously now chosen that game that has basically now given Arsenal the title, that's relegated West Ham. Not that should come into it, because like we say, plenty has happened this season. It's not just season defining, but the fact that the season, it does feel like, has been decided with a 5-minute video of a referee looking at a screen trying to find something to rule the goal out for.
Why do you think everyone has been copying each other with the throw-ins into the box? Get in front of the keeper, nudge the keeper, foul the keeper, because it's been play on, everyone's doing it. Then so it's a big moment in the Premier League's
need to be stronger. Goalkeepers need to be stronger.
Exactly. Then it's like, no, that's a foul. Listen, some people will say it's a foul, maybe because I'm an old school player. Maybe old school players will say exact same as me that have been in that situation. I think that overprotected goalkeepers, and that's every goalkeeper in the Premier League.
Yeah, I tend
quite soft.
Yeah, I agree. But Lewis has said, the PGMOL said they had to give the foul on Raya because it was the first foul. But it wasn't the first foul. I don't think that's what they did say. In actual, I don't think they did say that. Darren Cameron said it was the most significant foul.
Wow.
Who decides what is the most significant foul, Darren?
Declan Rice's two arms around the waist
tackle.
of Mavropanos.
Yeah.
That's
Also,
not
Gabriel,
significant.
there's a shirt pull as well on. Gabriel's on his knees and he's pulling Pablo's shirt. There's a million fouls going on. I personally don't see how you can give one.
No. And the reason there's a million fouls going on is down to the PGMOL allowing that to happen all season long. And it's got to this state, an absolute shambles. Now, one of their members, Chris Kavanagh, is put in the spotlight and put in an absolutely impossible, invidious position.
Toss the coin.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Basically, yeah.
Because
In his head.
he's
Head,
standing
tail.
there for five. He's standing there for 5 minutes, and I'm sure going through Chris's head
Change his
is,
mind.
What do I do?
what do I do here?
This is
What
his-
do
this is
I
history.
do here?
I made the
I'm
wrong
based-
decision.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I know, and I felt for him.